All right. Hi, everyone. This is Christian. It is so glad to see you guys here. This is Christian from PageFly. I'm happy to host this webinar with all of you today. For who does not know about our series, PageFly's from 0 to 1, we're holding an onboarding webinar series to help you learn how PageFly works. So how you can utilize and work around with the app so you can build your powerful store and launch your responsive website. So it is actually really quick and a correct way to do it. So our webinar covers from the most fundamental to the most advanced rules about PageFly, what functions and elements we have and how you can utilize them. So once you understand the app, you can build your store with a high conversion rate so quickly and easily. And you will find out so soon how to do that. So we want to spread a message to all of our customers that PageFly is not only an app provider, but we also are a dedicated companion, a sidekick, and also an advisor. And we are always happy to help you build your online store step by step. Okay, so in the last webinar, which is called the Master the Fundamentals, our speakers give you detailed instructions of how to access the app and how to get used to the app's interface. So we also give you the best practice to build a page layout, and now you're able to use it and adjust the elements location in your page. So today, I will let you know how powerful the PageFly app is with our elements. So you're able to utilize them to create your own page. So I won't let you wait more. So let's just get started and see how we can play around with the editor. All right, so right here, we're at PageFly, and now let's jump to the PageFly editor. So please take a look around the PageFly editor, and we will explore everything that you need to know when building a page with PageFly. So firstly, let's go ahead to the left sidebar. So we can find most of the all-powerful PageFly elements. So you can see from top to bottom, we find a lot of different options from here. So if we click on the Add Element button, you can open the standard element list, which is including the elements that are developed by PageFly. So these elements are divided into different categories. So into the categories that we find, we got the containers, we also got the basic elements, the media, the social, and also the advanced elements. So here we find very, very interesting elements, just like, for example, the Google Map element. So these are elements that any web page needs to have to increase the conversion rate and also to get more sales, which is what we are aiming for. So you can add any element into your page, but just drag and drop it into your page. So let's just drag and drop the Google Map element, and you will see it is so easy. So basically what we need to do is just drag and drop it on the page, and you can say that everything that we just need is just drag and drop. So everything is just drag and drop. It's so easy. Can you see that? So if we move to the next button, so the first button is the add element, and the next following one is the add Shopify element. So what are we finding here? So in the Shopify element list that you will see here, you will find most of the things that you need to set up on Shopify. And we got different categories for them, just like the product categories. We also got collections, we got form, and also the blog posts or articles. So as their name, Shopify elements, these elements require the data to be added on Shopify. For example, if we go to product and find the product title, here we will find that this element will be fetching or locating the data from Shopify. And this is going to be from a product because we are checking right now on the product. So if we go to the collection, we will find also the collection description, which is going to be the same story. So we set this collection description on Shopify, and this is what we are going to be showing using this element. So we got the same for the forms and also for the blog posts. So when you add any element from this list, all the data that is added on Shopify will be automatically showing on the page canvas. So to be clear, let's move to the Shopify admin. For example, if we go here, if we go to products, I am going to select any of my products that I got here. For example, let's go for this electric guitar. I'm very fan of music, so I got guitars right here. So you can see that we got the title of the product, we got also the description, We got the media, which is the images, the GIF or the 3D images that you got for your products. We also got auctions and variants right here. For example, I got colors, the bundle, and also the style. So all of this data is going to be appearing on the page using the PageFly elements built for Shopify data. So for example, if we go to product and go to product details, we can drag and drop this element. And this element, what it is going to be showing is everything that we just showed just a few seconds ago. So this is a different product, but if we go to the three dots located on the top right and then click on page assignment, we can select the product that we have just checked and we can just compare it. Let's now select the product details and change it like this so it updates. So you can see that we got the title, product title. You can see this is the product title, electric guitar. If we compare it to what we have on Shopify, electric guitar. So you got the product description. It is also the same product description. You got the media, you got the images here. So for the variants as well, you got the variants here that you can have on a product variant, on a drop down, on also different type of styles that you can create for PageFly. So another example that we can do in the case you want to show the products in a collection is that you need to find the product list element, which we can find by going to add Shopify element and then go to product list. So this element that we will find under the product category will be automatically showing all the products that you got on your store. So we are on product list and just going to drag and drop it on the page canvas. You select this. You can see that the product source is assigned to all. So this is going to be showing all the products from this from the store. So you can see I'm currently showing 4 different products that I got here. So you can also choose a specific collection if you only want to show the list of products of that collection. So let's go ahead and select the product list. You can also use the breadcrumb. The breadcrumb is a very, very powerful tool that sometimes we just do not take so much importance on it. So we can click on the button or anything inside of the product list, and then we can use the breadcrumb to select the product list element. Then we go to General tab, and under product source, we can select a custom collection. So for the custom collection, this time I'm going to go for electric guitars collection. So what I am going to show now is only products that are inside of the collection of the guitar. So if we go to collections here in Shopify and then go to electric guitars, you will find that we got 3 products here, which are the ones that are showing. So the order of the products that we are showing here is going to be the same one that we got here. So if we want to change this, we can just rearrange them from here. So these elements, basically what they do is help you to save time of building the important sections that you need to have on your page. They are updated automatically following your settings. So it is actually super easy and quick to do. As you can see, it's just basically drag and drop and everything will be showing on your page. So now there are some elements that require specialized expertises. And this is why we chose to offer you a great solution by integrating with professional app providers so you can get the best use out of both of PageFly and also the app functions that you love. So with that in mind, let's discover the third-party elements that we will find. If we go here on this button, you can see that we're just discovering what we find on this toolbar. So we have just discussed about the first two buttons. Now let's move to the third one, which is the third-party elements. So on the third-party elements, what we will find, if we click here, I've already showed something. Well, let me show something about this and let me explain you. So PageFly integrates with a lot of third-party apps in order to help you empower your website. If we click on the third-party apps button, which is this one right here, we can then click on the gear icon, which we will find on the top right of this toolbar, and then we will be opening this pop-up window. So from here, we can find different categories for different third-party apps that we have direct integration with. So this list will be expanding with time. With further updates, you will might be finding more and more third-party apps. So expect more to come. So these third-party elements are categorized in 12 categories. You can use the search bar to find the apps that you want from here, or you can use toggle those apps that you want to use. So let's go, for example, I'll find an email marketing app that I want to use on my page. So those that have signed up for this webinar might notice that we have used Omnisend. So let's say I want to also use Omnisend on my page. What do I need to do? Just click on this button and I will be toggling on. And then I can click on close. And when I open again this button, I will find under the email marketing category, the Omnisend widget for this. So we just need to drag and drop it on the page again, and we will be adding this element here. For how to set up or how to prepare this widget to be working correctly, you can find our manuals anytime on our help center. You can also contact us and we can also redirect you to them or explain how it works. So if we go back to the editor page, you can see that the apps that are enabled, you will find it here. You can see that I have enabled one app for subscriptions and also one app for reviews. You can have many apps inside this category. So under sales list, if we go down here, you will find more third-party apps. We call it the extra third-party applications. So here, what we will find is apps regarding SEO, pop-up and notifications, rewards and loyalty, internationalization, marketing automation, store management, search and filter that will work on your entire store pages, because these apps are not also or only working with PageFly, but also with your whole page on your whole store. So please note that in order to use third-party apps, whether they are from this part and also from this one, you need to install those apps on your store, and also you need to set those apps up. Like, for example, setting how you want them to display. And this is because PageFly is only the placeholder to display the widget of the third-party apps that we are directly integrated with. So you have a few sections right here on the page. You can see we got the map, we got a product details, we got a product list, and also we got the third-party app from Omnisend. So we need to have find a way to track or make sure that we can handle all of this content that we got on the page with ease. And scrolling up and down, sometimes you might have a lot of content, so you might get lost. So we thought about this and we created a feature which we call the page outline. So if you can see, we have already talked about 4 buttons, and now on top, we can find another button, which is the page outline. So with the page outline, you can view every single element that is inside each section easily. And you can rearrange the order of the sections, hide any section on a working device, and other options such as rename the section, because sometimes if you close them like this, you'll find only we got 2 sections at the moment. But sometimes you will find a lot of sections here. So you will be lost on which one is the one that you're looking for. So on top, let's say I want to identify this section, and let's go from here on the 3 dots that will appear once you move your mouse over, and you can click on rename, and let's say section of the map. So now if we open the page outline, we'll be identifying which section belongs to. So we know this one is the map, and the one below is for a different content. So when you create a new page, every time you create a new page, the page outline will be opened automatically. So if you need to go to the page editor and do anything, any change, you will find the page outline open for you to find the section that you need to work with. So if we move the button to the right bottom corner, right here on the left, we will find more buttons. So we have these queues around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons at the moment, and we find 3 more at the bottom left. So what are they for? So we got the version history, the custom code editor, very important, and also the live chat. So we have many useful elements in the app editor. I know it is not easy for you to understand all of them immediately, but don't worry, each element is detailed instructed in our manuals and our help center. You can also contact us about then, and we can also explain you what they for. So we also got guides, video tutorial, we got everything detailed for you on our resources. So you can check the in the box chat. Our team will be showing with you all of them. So now let's continue with our power function, which is very powerful when you need to work with the old version of your page. If we go back to the editor, on the first button that we find on the bottom left, we will find the version history. If we click on it, we will be having access to different versions of our page. So for example, I have made some versions by you just to show you how it works, and you will find that this is our current version, which has our map, our product details, and more content. If I hit save, I will be having the rest of the content down here, because every time that we hit the save button that we find on top right, we will be creating a new version. So if we check the other versions, we can anytime roll back the page and go back to that page. So you will find different versions of your page, and you can anytime just choose different version. This is because, for example, if you're working on your page and maybe you didn't like what you did or how it is actually looking, and you want to roll back, like, no, this is not good. So I will just roll back and go or start again or do something different. So they can use the version history to do this. This is why this is a very powerful tool. And something also very important is that each version will be automatically generated, as I mentioned, every time the save or the publish button is hit or clicked. So depending on the plan that you're on, you can see the number of versions that you have. We're simply also released a new pricing plan. We have a webinar about it that brings the merchants an outstanding benefit on version history. So with this new pricing plan that we're having, if that all subscription will have 50 available version history, where this number in the past was only applying to the platinum subscription in the old pricing plan. So moving on to the next button that we'll find, which is the custom code editor. So this final feature that you need to learn is the custom code editor. And here we can find the CSS or the JavaScript code boxes to customize your page and make it more unique or impressive. So if we click here, we'll be popping up both of the editor. So you can see custom CSS and also JavaScript. And you know what's also very cool? That you do not need to be using the tags to anytime you want to go add some codes. So here, you can also prevent some issues on your pages by adding custom codes, such as, for example, there are some things that will not let you make the pages to be full width, so we can avoid it. We can also avoid blank spaces on top of the pages. We can fix sticking section issues sometimes when they are not working, but this is an advanced feature that requires the knowledge of web design languages, which is like the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So if you don't understand this feature really well, or you don't have your hands on it, please avoid using it, as it could seriously harm your page. So I have shared with all of you the elements that PageFly offers you. If you have any question, please just tell me, drop it on the chat box. We have our team checking all the questions, so we are grabbing them all, and we will be answering all the questions that you might got so far. So I can see a question here from Paul. So he's asking, how can I make the image at the top and the title below, or the product list is default like that? How can I do that? So I think you're talking about the product list that you want to have on top, the image at the top and the title below. So if we click, for example, on the button, you will find that this is inside a column and also a row. So what we need to do is just select the row, and we can go to General tab, and we can adjust the columns per line that we find here. And now you will see that you have the image on top and you got below the title. So if you want to just swap them, you can also drag and drop and do the same thing. We got another question here from Jane. Can I add other element to these product details? So the product details that we find here, yes, you can add any of the elements that you find on the product category, or you can also add elements that you find on the add element group. For example, a heading. If you want to add a heading to your product details, like for example, you can just drag and drop it like this, and then you can add like sales start now, something like this. Yes, you can drag and drop any of the elements that you want. So let's see if we got more questions. We are just waiting for all the questions and we will reply then all. Okay, so we will be replying the rest of the questions further moving on. So we have just walked through all of PageFly's elements. So the next step is how can we personalize them to make like a unique design and to make our own page. If you want to customize an element, it is actually super simple. We just need to click on it, and then we need to head to the right toolbar, because now we got on the right side, we got another toolbar, and we need to click on the styling tab. So we actually got two tabs, the general and the styling tab. So the general tab has 6 groups at max. So let's select the section and we will take a look at them. This is the section you can see here, and this is the general tab. So on this one, we find 4 content, which is the content group parameter, the visibility, the attributes, the animation. But also there could be more. It depends on the element that we are selecting. So this is, for example, the element container, which is the section. So if we go back now to the editor, beside the elements, the element containers, which is, let's select the product media and take a look to the breadcrumb to show them. So the element containers that we find is the column, the row, and the section. What is an element container? I think will be a good question. A tip here is that an element container is that a container, just like it says in its name, is that it will be hosting or allocating or storing anything inside. For example, the column inside has the product details you can see, and the column is always going to be contained by the row, and the row by the section. So now let's dig into each parameter and explore their functions. So let's go and select, let's go for the product title and select it. So if we go to the general tab, we'll find the content parameter group. The content parameter group is an element that helps you edit the content of an element, so that when a customer looks at your website, they understand what the element is expressing. So if we take a look at the product title, you will see that we find the HTML tag for the SEO, very important. And also, if we switch to another element, you will see that the content parameter group is now showing a different information. So this depends on the element, and this helps you to set up your elements how you want. Yes, please keep sending your questions. We will reply them soon. So don't worry, we got you all. So for example, with a heading element, you can change the heading text. If we click now, the heading that we just added a few moments ago, if we go to the content parameter group in the heading text box, here we can just change it just like we did a few seconds ago. And now if we move to the next one, the action parameter group, which is this one that we find here, in here is where we can add click action options to elements, so the customer can quickly access the other links, go to a section in the same page, open a pop-up, send an email, or even make a phone call to you without leaving the page. Note that not all elements will have the content parameter. For example, the paragraph element. So if we move now to the next one, but first, before moving, let me show you an example for the click action. We got a heading. Let's say that when we click on the sales start now heading that we got here on this text, we want the customers will go to another page on our store. So we just need to click on it, go to URL, then click here, and then we can find all the products that we got. If we want to redirect to a product, to a regular pages of our store, whether they are built with PageFly or not, are also the blog post. So let's say I wanted to redirect to all our products page. I will just select, this only works on the live page, so don't expect it to work on the editor. So on the live page, when we click on this text, we will go into that page. So let's move to the next one, and we will find the visibility content parameter group. So you can hide the element on a specific devices. So if, for example, I click on the heading and then hiding on desktop, you will see that it just disappears. It is now not visible there. It is no longer there. I cannot see it. But if I go to another view, let's go to mobile, for example, we will find our heading there. So the visibility content group is very powerful when we need to build or to do some kind of customizations. So I would just unhide it so it is back to us. So finally, if we select another element, so let's go for this button and we will find another parameter group. And this is going to be the tracking. Tracking is very useful when we are on our road to building a high conversion rate page. So with the tracking parameter group, we are integrated with pages, with features like Google Analytics. You can see here with our own tracking, the PageFly events, and also with Facebook Pixel. So you can enable PageFly Analytics, very simple. Let me show you. Let's go here. We are on the dashboard of PageFly. We can go to settings, and now we can go to analytics, and we can use enable it here and then save changes. This needs your confirmation. So let me just do it like this really quick so you can see. You can see that your consent is required so you can enable our tracking. Okay, let's go back to the editor. So what else can we find on this general tab that is filled with a lot of information, a lot of tools that you can see? So on this same button, you can see we are keeping on the same button. We will find another one, which is the attributes parameter group. So the attributes parameter group, you can set a custom value for several native attributes of the element HTML code so that you can later use it in custom CSS or even JavaScript code. So the attributes include the ID and also the class box. So those more into coding will get what are they for. So if we also take a look to the more settings that we find here, what we are going to get here is custom attributes. So you can add custom attributes. This is going to be more advanced into coding for sure, but this is very powerful that you got the tools that you need for anything that you want to do on your page. So if we now move to the next one, let's go and close this so we can focus on the next, which is the animation content parameter group. On the animation one, we can find two options, when display and when the mouse is over. So on display means that when the element is not visible. So let's say I am on the live page right now. This is not the editor. And you can see the button is not visible. I just landed on the page. And once I scroll down and I can see the button, it is now going to trigger the animation. So let's take a look to some of them. Some of them are actually really funny. Let's use bouncing up. You can see bouncing right, facing. These only work on the live page. So once you add one of the animations that you like, you can anytime remove them by just clicking here on the cross button that we found. So when the mouse over, this is an even funnier one, because here is when we put the mouse over the button or the element, and it is going to do something. For example, something that is actually very fun is like, let's go for this one. Yeah, just for example, this one. So when the mouse is over, this will not work on the editor. This only work on the preview or live page, but we can also remove it doing the same thing from here. So we have just talked about pretty much all the tabs that we can find on the general tab. If there is anything unclear, please do not hesitate to ask me or just leave your question in the chat box and I'll help you out to show them how to achieve certain things or just sort the doubts out. Yeah, we're receiving your questions. I'm so happy to see that you guys are very active in the webinar. This is awesome. And I would like to know whether you have any difficulties when working on your own PageFly editor. So just leave your questions, your issues that you're facing. I will help you out. So don't worry about that. I'll be now replying some of the questions. We got a question here. Do you have something like the countdown timer? Yes, we have a countdown timer. So let's go down on the page and we are going to drag and drop it because on PageFly, everything is just drag and drop. So if we go here and scroll down, we will find the advanced. And here we will find the countdown timer element, which we just need to once again drag and drop on the page, just like this. And there you go. You have now the countdown. So if you go to the content under the general tab, just like we mentioned before, under the content, we will find everything we need to set it up, when it will start, where it is starting time, if it is even going to restart, and when it is going to end, if it is going to be hidden once the countdown is no longer running. So we got different options here. Let's take a look to another question that we got here from Shihan. So how to increase the font size of a word in a particular hidden paragraph element? So at the moment, for the hidden paragraph element, we cannot increase a specific word. So let's go back to the heading that we find here. What we can do is go to styling tab. We will be discussing about this very shortly. Where you can increase the font size, but we can do a certain layout to do what you want, which you can use different elements like 2 headings or 3 headings, and you can increase the font size of that heading that you want to be bigger or smaller. So let's see, we got more questions. So I see a question here. I want to redirect the customers who click the image. So we talk about this. Let's use now to it on the image, and you will see that it is actually very simple. I am going to drag and drop this layout, which is a row containing 2 columns. Once again, just drag and drop. This is very much what we need to do here. And I'm going to add the image on the left one just to show you. And I'm going to assign to the image element one image that I got here. And now I will reply your question. So I want to redirect the customer who clicked the image. So what we need to do is click the image element to select it. We can go to General tab and then find the action and then click action, go to URL, go to URL again, and select the page that you want to redirect to. If the page that you want to redirect to is not in your store, you can paste the link here in the box anytime and then select. If you want to open it in a new tab, you can toggle this option also. But if you mean on the product list or on the product details, you can do the same thing. You click on the image, select the element, which is the product media, go to General tab, and here you will find media click action. So you can link it to the product. So once the image is clicked, it is going to be redirecting to the product that it is assigned to. Yes, please keep sending your questions and we will be replying them all shortly. So let's now switch to the styling tab. We have discussed and we have talked about the general tab. Let's now move to the styling tab. So we got a lot of bunch of actions here as well. So you can decorate your elements and your page and do a lot of things. A full styling set includes, like, we got on top, let's just select an element that have most of the options. For example, the heading. So you will find on top the global style, and then we find the overall, then we find spacing, typography, background, border, display, effects, and finally the CSS code box at the very bottom. So just like in the general tab, not all the elements will have all these parameters. So let's just talk about the first one, which is the global style. The global style is designed for you to predefine styling for elements. And this includes the heading, the paragraph, the button, the image, the icon, and also the divider, which helps you to build the pages with speed and also uniformity all across the online store. So you can set the global styles by going, once again, dashboard, they go to settings, and then here global styling. So you will find here all of these elements, and so you can set colors and font families. So this can help you to save a lot of times once you set it up. So if we now move to the next one, which is the overall, let's select back the heading. I will find the overall. And here, what we are finding is the content color option that allows you to choose the color for the content, which can be a text, an icon, and also beside that, you can also add the color manually in some scenarios. You can choose colors also from the global styling you can see here. So if we now move, let's select, for example, this button. Let's actually select this one down here so you can see how it works. We'll find the alignment one. So what it is alignment parameter for? So this only apply for some specific elements, just like the image that we have added down here, which is the normal image element. We can also do it for the product media, also for the buttons, for the countdown, for the icon, and also this parameter will help you to align the selected elements horizontally. So for example, if we click on this button, just to mention to you how to do it, it's actually very simple. So we just need to click on this button, the very middle one, and you will see that now the button is aligned to the very middle, very middle of these containers. You can see more here. So if we now move to the next one, we will find the spacing. The spacing one is a very interesting feature, especially in programming, because it allows you to do a lot of things. So the spacing parameters that include the padding and also margin options, this allows you to control the spacing around and also inside the element. So please note that if you use the alignment option above, so this one right here, you cannot adjust the margins on the sides. You can see you cannot change it. So if we now move to the next one, actually first before moving, let me show you a trick that you can do by using this. So you can see that I am selecting the row right here inside the product list, and you will find two dots down here, right? You can see two dots. So what are these dots for? This is for padding and margin, and this can help you to use assign or to make the changes, adjustment like this, with you having to be typing and testing different values. So this is a very powerful tool as well. So let's move now to the typography, and you might have an idea what is this for by just looking at its name. So with the typography parameters, you can customize font family, you can also the font size, text alignment, text style, and you got more settings here as well. So when you assign a font here, I will show you how to show or have a list of fonts to select to or from very shortly. So I have just assigned the April font face to this row, which will be assigning the font to everything inside. So let's actually do it this way. Let's select the product title instead and assign the font to the product title. You will see that it is now assigned. If we go to more settings, we will find more options, just like the font weight. You can see this font only has one type. So this depends on the font size, on the font family that we are using. We find more settings, the line height, as you can see, the letter spacing, if you want the letters more together, more just like you can see what it is actually doing. So you can also choose the fonts that you want. And let me show you how it's very simple. If we go to typography again and click on the gear icon, we will be triggering or opening this window. And from this window, you will find thousands of Google fonts to choose from. You can see 71 pages, and you can spend the whole day here just looking at all the fonts. You can see all the different fonts that we find here. So how do I set them to be on the right side on the list so I can choose to use them? For example, I want to use this one, finger paint. Everything I need to do is just check it, and that's it. It is going to now be appearing on our selected font list. Then we can click on select, and now click this, and now we can find our finger paint font that we have just assigned. So you can see it's pretty much one click and another click, and that's it. Everything is so easy with PageFly. You just need to click a button or two, and that's it. So let's now move to the next one, typography, and now let's move to background. So you have an idea what the background option might be for. So the background parameters commonly come with background color, as you can see here, background color, and also the background image. But you can choose the section. Let's here select the section, and you will find more options here, like the video and also the parallax one. So when you choose the section, you will find these options that cannot be found on another element or another element container. So with the background video, you can use, let's go to video here, and you can use YouTube, you can use video, or you can even use MP4 video files that you have on your Shopify files, or you have on your device. Let's say on your computer, you have a video that you want to use in the background of your section, but you need to have it on your Shopify files. Or you can just go here to video, and you can just upload the video as well. Yes, please just keep sending the question. We are receiving all your questions. Yes, we actually appreciate that you're just with us here sharing this issue. So amazing. Let's just now move to the next parameter group that we find, which is the border. So with the border parameter, here you can add borders to any element that you want. There are 4 options for border styles, as you can see here. They are the solid, which is this one right here. We find the dotted one, the dash, and also to add non-border at all. So if you don't want to add the border to the 4 edges, we can also add a border. So let's actually do it with an example so you can see more in action how it works. So we got a button here, and we are going to add only borders, let's say to the left and also to the right. So it is not going to have border all across the button. So what we are going to use is, let's go for this style of the border. And let's now go here, more settings, border width, and we are going to give it on top and bottom 0. And now you will see that the button only has a border on the right and also on the left side. This is cool, right? So we can have more customization options here. So in the case you want to add like a border radius to an image without adding borders, you just need to click on more settings and add a border radius, just the same thing. So let's just do it with the image down here. Click on the image. We want to make it like round, but we don't want to add borders. So we just click on more settings under border, and let's just go add a border, just like this. So you can see the image now has a border, which actually didn't need to add a border at all to the image. So if we now move to the next one, we will find the display parameter. And here we will find different styles, just like the option which are from CSS, the inline, the block, and also the flex option. Very powerful. So let's move to the next one, which is the effects. On effects, we will find very, very, very cool. You will see why I say that. It is very cool. So on the effect parameter, where you can adjust the opacity of an element, let's just select here this image. You can adjust the opacity, as you can see. You can also add border, shadows, just like this. So you'll see why this is so cool. I will reduce the shadow blur just to show you how cool this will look. So now you can see that the image is looking like it is floating, and this is just because of the shadows. So this is an amazing feature that we got for personalizing your elements, and you cannot miss it. Okay, so I would like to talk a little bit here because I know this is might be dropping or arising some questions about the shadows, because this is a feature that I'm pretty sure you will be going out of the webinar and going to your editor to test it out. So on the shadows, we can find different options like the horizontal offset, which is where the shadow is going to. You can see on the left, on the right, the vertical, which is on top and bottom, and also the blur. So let's just move it a little bit more so you can see it, how it works on the blur. So you can see it is like vanishing in the background, or you can also reduce it and it is more solid. But I would go for a more blurred looking option. You can change the color anytime as well, just like this. So you can see how cool is that looking. So finally, we will find the CSS box at the very, very bottom of the styling tab. And all the setup that we have or we are just making, for example, if we click on the image, you will find the CSS code box have automatically generated some code in here. And this is because everything is automatized for you. So you just need to set the styles that you want, and the CSS or the code for these styles will be generated. So let's just do an example, because just to see it like more in live action, how it works, let's select again the heading, and let's just give it a color. Let's go to overall and give it a color to this one. And you will find down here how the code is going to be generated. So you can see how the code is just being there, like out of nowhere, it is just appearing there. It's just so cool. The developers are doing an amazing job. We appreciate all the work that you guys are actually doing. So another option that we can find on the right toolbar is the device icon. And this is a very, very important one to know. So we are again on the content color. Actually, let's go to typography. Okay, so we are in the typography, and we are going to give this, let's actually give it really quick another color so we can see it more clearly. Okay. Back to typography, let's give a font size to this one. Let's go to 25. So you will find this device icon on the very right. You might be asking, what is this for? So what this allows you to do is select the element, make sure that you're selecting the element, and you can so quick go to mobile, and you can do a different setup for here for this one. So let's go for mobile. I will talk more about this shortly, but let's go for mobile. I want you to have 12 font size, which is very small, but this is just like an example. Let's actually go for 18. And let's go back to all devices, and you will see that there is different font sizes by just clicking on this button. So you can quickly, you can see how it is scrolling you down. It is scrolling with you the page. So you don't need to be on top and then scroll down. No, you just need to use this button and you will be going to the element right away. Yes, guys, we appreciate all the questions. So yes, we're actually so happy to see your questions. Just keep sending more. I will be replying the questions that you're sending. Okay, so last but not least, we all know how important it is to have a perfect look on the page on different type of devices, especially on mobile, because today's days people only or most of the time use their mobile phone. So PageFly is designed to help merchants to easily build pages that are responsive on any devices. So if we go to the top right, we'll find the different devices, like all devices which is desktop, which are all the big ones, the big screens. Then we find laptops, tablet, and also the very important one, the mobile one, the mobile devices. So, however, in some cases, styles that you add on all devices will be becoming unnecessary on devices that you have small screens, and it makes these devices do not look good. So to fix this issue, you just need to switch to the page on that device and customize the element, just like we did with the heading right here. So let's first take some examples. So the first example that we're going to do more real life. So let's go for this title, the product title right here, let's give it a very big font size. So it is more looking better on desktop like this. But the thing is that if we go to mobile, we will find that the title is not even fitting on the same line. So this is not going to be looking good. We don't want to have the content like wrapped to the left. So what we're going to do is just do the same thing that we did with the heading. We go to font size here. We're selecting the same element, the product title. As you can see, styling tab, typography, font size, and we're going to give it a small one. So let's go for 24. Actually, let's go bigger, 28. So you will see that it is now fitting in one line and it is looking super better compared to how it was looking before. We can even make it a little bit better. If you got a mouse, you can use the mouse to also increase the font size. You can see it's actually so easy. It's like playing around the options that we find here on PageFly. So let's say another example, very important example. So let's go back to the image that we added earlier. Remember the box shadows that we created? So let's add on the right side a heading. Okay, so we got a heading, and yes, please, if you got questions, just send them to us on the chat box. We will reply them. So on desktop, we can see that we find the image on the left, the text on the right. But what happened when we go to mobile? You can see that the image is now on top, but it is actually going to look better if we have on top, or we have on top the text. So what we can do here is we can click on the image, we can go to row, and we can play con styling, display, and we can add an example here with flex. So this might be a little advanced for some users, but this is actually very simple. Just a button, click on flex, select what is containing the elements, and then set direction to column reverse, and you can see how it is now on the other side. So if we go to tablet, and let's say that we want to have on tablet the same layout that we have on mobile. You can see the text on top, or just one element per row. On tablet, what we can do is use, again, select a row. How to select a row? Use the breadcrumb. Remember to the breadcrumb. The breadcrumb is very powerful and very important. So click on the image, then click on row, go to general tab, find the columns per line, and change 2 columns to only 1 column per line. And you will find the same layout that we have for mobile, 1 columns per line. So these are some examples on how you can make your page responsive. Another example would be using the product list. So let's go to the product list, general tab. Let's change the items per row on desktop. I want to have 4. I want 4 to be visible, but I want to show all the collection, all the products of my store. So I have 4 products showing right now on desktop. But if I go to mobile, this is not looking good, because you can see it is like, it's actually not looking good. So we can select the product list, items per row, and change from 2 to 1. And you can see that it is now looking better. It is more mobile friendly, because you will be just swiping, and you will be just taking a look more with more peace to your products. So this is a very good example of how you can play around with making your page responsive. You can also make and hide some elements from certain views, so you can make more layouts if you want. So I have just shared with you how to get a full grasp of PageFly's elements. I will actually know that you might sometimes get confused or maybe getting a lot of information. So between these elements, and I would love to answer all the questions that you guys might have. So please just tell me if you have any, and I'll be just replying them all. This webinar is for you. We have built this for you because we want you to feel more powerful and to understand more the powerful tool that we are giving to you. You can even use it on the free plan. So imagine how powerful this is. Don't forget to also submit the feedback for the webinar. It is a great way for PageFly to understand you and support you better. So, all right, let's take a look to the questions that we're finding. So we got another question here. Icons are limited in PageFly. It would be better if PageFly link font on some icons with PageFly. Yes, we got a library of icons, and you can also anytime add your own icons. And it's actually very simple. You just need to use the image element. Let's go back to this one right here. You can use the image element. You can give it set here to no, and also custom set here to contain, and you can give the small size, and you can add your own icons as well. So let's take a look to other questions that we find. Can I add custom fonts, and can I change the color of heading when I hover on it? So for custom fonts, yes, you can add custom fonts. We have detailed resources on how to do it. You just need to have the files. You need to take a look to the manual. And it is actually very simple to do. It's just a few steps. You add your fonts to the page, and then about your question, they change the color of a heading when I hover on it. Yes, let me show you how to do that. Let's go back to the heading that we added before. Let's go to Styling tab, and you will find here this button for states. So if we click on it, we can click on mouse over state, and you can check and go back to overall, and on content color, you can add a different color. So let's go for green. And this is going to be showing different colors. You can see once you put the mouse over the heading. You can do the same thing for buttons. For example, the add to cart, go here, styling, and on the states drop down, you can select different states. Every time you select a different state, you can give them any style. So on normal state, let's say I want to keep it just like this, how it is now. And on mouse over, I will give it, the content color is going to be for the button, the color of the text. And let's say I want to have it on black, and also the background of the button here, I will go for white. So when I put the mouse over, you can see how it is now, the button looking. It is white. We can also add a border for it for when we move the mouse over. You also got different styles to set, like when the button is disabled, let's say your product is out of stock, so it will be disabled, and you can set different colors for it. And also when it is active, or when you have clicked on it as well. No, you have different states that you can set. Let's take a look to another questions. How can I add text to overlap an image? So this is more falling into creating things like a hero. We can add the image in the background, and then you can add any element on top of that. So let's go to add element layout, and let's just do a hero really quick. Just drag and drop it like this. This is a new section. You can see this is a new section. Select the section, go to Styling tab, find background image, and then select an image. Let's just select, let's go for this one that I got here. And now you can set some things that I would recommend, like to not repeat the background, to cover the image, and also to be center. And now we can go to spacing and add some padding, and this will make our image to be fully visible. So let's go for 250 and 250. So we have resources where you can learn more about what's padding and margin, but in short words, what padding does is just add a space inside of the element. So you are selecting the section, and when we are adding padding, we'll be adding space inside of the section. If we add margin, we'll be adding space outside of the section. So if I add margin right now, let me show you. You will see that we are pushing the section below more further away. If I remove it, it is now closer. So let's go here, 350. Just like this, we can change the position of our image, just like that. And now you can drag and drop the content that you want. For example, you mentioned a heading. So just drag and drop the heading. You can also select the section on more settings, and you can add an overlay color. so your content is more visible. Go for a more darker one. And now to the heading, you can give it font size, make it bigger, another color. And now you can see your hero right there. So let's take a look to another questions. Can I put videos in an image slider that has more than 3 slides? Videos in an image slider that has more than 3 slides. So if we go to the slideshow, you can add anything. So let me just drag and drop the slideshow to show you. I added the version that has an image, so you can just delete the image and you can add the videos how you want. We got different options for video. You can find YouTube, Vimeo, and also HTML videos for those MP4 files that you have on your computer or on your Shopify files. So yes, you can have them on your slides, any video that you want. So let's take a look to more questions. So I can find here this question that is asking this user. I need to attach link to specific words in sentences. How can I achieve that? Let me show you. It's actually simple as well. So let's go back to the hero. And if I select the heading and then go to general tab, I can highlight on the content tab. You can see here on text box, I can highlight the content that I want to be, or that I want to add a link to. For example, let's say, let's actually change what it says. Let's add, learn more about it. And I will highlight only learn more, and then I will go to link to visit URL. And from here, I can add the URL that I want to be linking it to if it is outside of the store, or I can select anything that it is inside of our store. So let's go and select this product, or actually let's go to pages and about us. And so customers, when click on it, they will be visiting this link once they click on the heading, because it is only when they click on the learn more word type is going to be visible, only like that. Okay, so if you have no more question for me at the moment, this is then the end of the webinar. It is a pleasure to support you. We will be with you anytime. Remember that we are 24/7 available on the live chat, and it is always our pleasure to support you, and we will be with you anytime. So the record of this webinar will be sent to your email before the weekend. So looking forward to see you in the next webinar, and thank you so much for your attendance, and have a lovely rest of the day. Goodbye.